Good morning, everyone. Monday, Pashas Shmini. As Hashem, we're mamshich our yesterday shir. Yesterday we discussed how important is to provide for a child very happy and content environment, because the child at his younger years does not due to his limited brain capacity, does not he doesn't have a seichel, does not have a brain to distinguish what's good, what's bad, what's negative, what's positive. Therefore, it's very important for parents, especially at home, to provide to a child that happy, content environment. As we have said yesterday from Rucham Kanievsky, that it's very important, far more important, to watch our behaviors, the parents' behaviors at home, to make sure not to have disputes or disagreements or yelling or condemning or criticizing each other or disrespecting each other, because all these behaviors can influence a child to follow up and be the same. And actually, it goes so far that even the child inherently was designed, was granted with that positive personality. I mean, they said that he was naturally, inherently, he came to this world to have that calm and pleasant personality. So actually, the environment that he's in can convert him to become a different personality. Meaning to say, if he was born with the positive personality naturally, if he's being raised in a negative environment like home, so he will become negative. So it's opposite. If a child was born with negative personality, he was born with very strong tendencies to anger management or jealousy, whatever, and other negative behaviors. And the power of influence can convert the child. Power of influence means to say the parents will behave they will live with the principle. They will conduct their life under the principle of a sameach bechelkoi, or so that will influence the child and actually convert his personality to become more positive and more have a good eye and not a critical eye. And it's a general rule which is very true, and the facts showing how powerful is the power of environment, especially at home. So it's far more important for parents to worry, and to put all the efforts to create their main focus to create a positive energy and environment at home before they start to worry about the influence from outside. Because as I said yesterday, that outside, the street will influence the child. The outside, the street will influence on the child, only on the child who is coming from the home, which did not provide him or is not providing him that positive environments and that content environments. Then the street will take a turn and will do whatever it needs to do. Versus when the child comes from home, a healthier home, happier home, a home of let's call it love and respect, then the street will have a very, very hard time to influence on the child that negative behavior. That's the just rule. So at school, so it's Beis Yaakov, girls, boys, the influence from outside will influence on the child only a child who is weak. Therefore, I would like to highlight this line, as Reb Chaim Kanievsky is saying, it's very important that the parents should not criticize and should not disrespect each other in front of the kids. In front of the kids, the parents need to let even performance, it's good. Although you can't build a relationship on performance, but the child needs to see that there is a shulam peace between parents, And of course, they're self-understood that there is all the times there's disputes between parents. But if the parents would like to discuss something, never discuss in front of the kids. Just do it elsewhere. You can go on a date. You can go different places, but not in front of the kids. In front of the kids, the kids need to see how the parents respect each other and they talk respectfully to each other. They communicate with certain dignity. They're protecting each other's dignity in front of the kids. Chas v'shalom, not to disrespect a husband to wife, a wife or husband, all the times not, but especially in front of the kids, because it has a major impact, on the child who saw the disrespectful behavior at the parents' behalf to each other. And you see it clearly. Kids who are coming from home which he was exposed to, he was exposing his son, participated when the father disrespected the mother or the mother disrespected the father. He is imitating this behavior and he's becoming actually a disrespectful person as well. It's a fact. And so we see the fact goes up, vice versa as well. A child who participated a high respect on behalf of the parents. They saw that how the father talks to the mother and the mother talks to the father. He imitates this behavior and he becomes a respectful person, although it's against his nature. But this environment converts the child and makes him for a better person. So therefore, it's very important, as Rav Chaim Kanievsky is saying, to guard the respect to each other at home, so the kids see it and imitate this as well, and it's influencing on them and have a major impact all across the life. It will carry them out all across their life. So it's very important. I would like also to bring to the attention that environment is very important. So therefore, let's say sometimes the parents go to vacations and they go, to Florida or to different places, or stamas are the working parents, they work and they give their kids to a babysitter. So sometimes we're just taking any babysitter that we find, as long as it fits to our budgets, and but it's very important. It's very important to imply the same rule to the babysitter as well. I mean to say, the child it's very young right now. The child's very young, so the environment that he will see, he'll get exposed at the babysitter's home will definitely have influence on him. So therefore, when we choose a babysitter, although even the babysitter, it's for a short period of time or a long period of time, of course. So it's very important to run your research on babysitters' history. It's very important to consider that the babysitter should be a mother herself. Meaning to say, not teenagers or single or divorced. She should be mother herself, so she can relate to a child. She has experience how to take care of the child, because single girls or divorced or bachlal, they don't have kids. Do not really have that experience how to treat a child. Sometimes a mother knows that there's nothing more important than the child. There's nothing more important than a child. Meaning to say that I'll put everything aside just to calm down my child. When the child cries, the mother will usually put everything aside. Will take care of the child and will make him calm and will take care of him. A single girl or non-married or divorced or anyone who does not have kids, really they don't have that understanding. They don't have the mother feeling, and sometimes they can choose They can choose to get involved in their own activities and to get involved, to be busy with their own agendas, and they put their own agendas before the child. And sometimes it can cause the let the child cry and cry and cry, and it's not really comes from egoistical behavior. It just comes a lack of experience, understanding that the child, when you have a child, the child is number one and nothing is number two. So it's very important number to consider when we hire a babysitter. Number one is practically that the babysitter should be mother herself. It really does not matter for how long we take this babysitter, because every single day it's a new experience for a child. So every day can influence on a child different behavior, different influence, and different stuff. So even for a short period of time, I would highly recommend to, number one, to take a babysitter who is mother herself, because she has a mother's feeling, she has experience, she understands how to take care of the child. And also, the number two, we should consider when we hire a babysitter, she should be more of a positive person. Meaning to say, sometimes we'll get babysitters who had a devastated life, or who are having that challenges in life that are absolutely challenges, and the life experience made them for victims. The life experience made them for the bitter people, and their internal instability makes them behave negatively, and a child censor this behavior, and it can actually influence on a child as well. So sometimes we wonder what's going on with the child. He grew up in a more positive environment at home, but he grew up negatively. The number one where we have to detect, where we check, is the babysitter, because sometimes even the parents from a child comes to a positive home, but he had that half a year, that few months or a week or few weeks at the participated in the negative behavior of the babysitter. It had major impact on the child, and made them adopt that negative behavior from the babysitter. So number two, I would say, when we choose the child with the babysitter, we should check on if she's positive or negative. Of course, we will have to choose the positive babysitter versus the negative. Number three, it's someone, of course, besides having a positive, it should be more for a babysitter who more higher level of babysitter, meaning to say, not someone who will play on their phone, even though she takes care of the child, but she's not so, let's call it, spiritually clean, because whatever she will watch on the phone, she might expose the child to whatever she's watching, whatever she's doing, inappropriate things, and it can also influence on the child rochni's part. So I think these three criteria are very important for a babysitter to contain, so we feel safe that our kids, the child, gets that extension from the home, that positive extension, that more cleaner rochnistic extension at the babysitter's home. Of course, we have to do whatever we can do, our ishtadlus, and the rest we have to rely on Hashem. But the ishtadlus needs to be, babysitter is very important, because that's the first years of the child's life, and it has major impact on the child and across his life, how he'll behave. And if we can find this kind of babysitter, it's it's din in the fushes. It's not like something which is okay, if I did not find it, it's also good. It's din in the fushes. Remember, the first years are so crucial and so important. That this is the time where the child absorbs his behaviors, absorbs his personality. It's very crucial. And I don't think the money should make a matter here. We should consider the budgets. If parents did find a good babysitter, and with all the criteria, good criteria, positive energy, a bit energy, and positive and good spiritually. But if you charge a little more, I would highly recommend to invest money in the good babysitter versus the opposite, not good one. In modern psychology, it's proven that they conducted very careful, very good research, and they proved how important the environment, how important this environment for a child is. It's just like the fascinating research. It took the modern psychology. They took group of kids, and divided they took parents who worked, took their kids, and they divided them into groups. One group, they hired a French-speaking babysitter. In one group, they hired Russian-speaking babysitter. And this took this research took half a year. So, and half a year, one group was the French-speaking babysitter, one group was the Russian-speaking babysitter. So they saw that when the kids grew up and they went to college, and of course after half a year the kids went home, they saw when the kids went to college, and in the college they were learning languages, different languages. So they detected that the kids when they were learning French, the kids who grew up with a French-speaking babysitter, they caught on French very fast, way faster than other students. So those students who grew up at the younger years, being at the Russian-speaking babysitter, they caught on Russian language very fast, way faster than other students. So that showed them, that proved them how important and how powerful the power of environment is. Even the child did not understand really French at the younger years, because he just don't understand. But constant hearing that French language, constant hearing that Russian language, actually adopted them, and they were familiar with the words, familiar with the body language. When is a smile, when it's positive expressions, when it's negative expressions. So they were very familiar with the words. Then that actually helped them to adopt the new language very fast, far faster than other students. And they came to a conclusion, and I'm talking very advanced psychology, that the really what raises the child, what makes for a child, what makes or breaks a child at his older years, is the environment that he was in at the younger years. But there is a source to it in Torah also. It's a source. I just said it, the psychology, just to bring and how whatever the psychology I keep on discovering today's day, we already have it in our Torah for the thousand years. There is a source to it in Yerushalmi. Yerushalmi Ksubas Perig Hey Halacha Vav. It's very interesting. Yerushalmi saying as follows: there is three Amoraim, Shmuel, Rabbi Yochanan, and Rabbi Shua Levi. So Shmuel is saying as follows: Shmuel Omar, Chakim ano lechayis de yalden li. Shmuel is saying, I remember the nurse who helped my mother to give birth. Rabbi Shua Levi Omar, Chakim ano legzura de gazden li. I remember my moil. I remember the person who made me breathe. Rabbi Yochanan Omer, Chakim ano lenisheh de tzaftin im imo. I remember the ladies who participated my bris, in the word of my mother, at my bris. Interesting. they just come randomly in the Risham, appears these three members, three statements of the Amoraim. So we see how Shmuel, he was very young, and he remembers still. He still remembers his the nurse that helped his mother to give birth. And Rav Shubin Levi, he remembers his moil. He remembers his moil who made him breathe. Rav Yochanan, he remembers the ladies who participated his breeze when they were with his mother. Interesting. So we see how far it goes that the child at the younger years, Shmuel at the younger years, which was born, Rav Shubin Rav Yochanan, they already had that sensor. They communicated with outside world, not with the seichel, but the ria, with their view, with their outlook, already made him to adopt and see it in a certain way, understand who is people, and they remember it. Every person naturally, inherently identifies with his environment and directs to himself the behavior of the environment. That's natural. He identifies with the environment and directs to himself the behavior of the environment. There's only two categories of people who are not directing to themselves the behavior of the environment. It's Elohim, genius, or dead people. They're not adopting. They're not directing to themselves the behavior of the environment. Elohim with dead people, but majority people, every person, everyone directs to himself the behavior of his environment. The prime example for that is Cheder, how the kids learn Aleph Beis. Aleph Beis. You see the beautiful scenery to see how the kids learn Aleph Beis. It's because one child sees how his friend is screaming with the Gishmak Aleph. It makes him also say Aleph with the Gishmak. It's not because he gets the Seirurus, not because he gets ignited with that Givaldig Yeregish to Aleph Beis. He imitates. He directs himself the behavior of his friend, of his environment that he's in. He wants to learn. So is adults. The child at his younger years, he learns and he's trying to direct himself to the behavior of the environment that parents provide him. He does whatever the parents do. Takas at the beginning, it's very robotic, it's very automatic, and he tries to imitate all kind of imitations from whatever he sees and at his parents' behalf. But this external imitation ingrains in himself understanding. It's enforcing within himself the understanding that that's the way you have to behave. That's the way you have to behave. Let's say, let's say someone said a story once that in Geman, a man came to a Rebbe and he said, my child is 2 years old, but he's so smart that he takes like a cable and he puts like a tefillin on his hand. It's a gewaltige chokhmah. I think it was a Pnei Menachem, Ger Rebbe. He takes a cable, my son takes it at H2 and he ties it like on his hand like a tefillin. So Pnei Menachem told him, "Oh, you better go to shul." It's a form of a job, but it's not really a job because the father was davening at home, obviously, and the child 2 years old was imitating his father, was trying to also put tefillin like his father does. So the kids imitate the parents. Kids imitate the environment. They're just like it's a natural, very inherent behaviors which was installed to every human, every human in the world. So it's very important to know, be in tune with this knowledge, because sometimes kids come home with certain certain different behaviors, like they're using certain words, or they behave differently. So we're telling to a child, oh, it's you can't talk, so you can't say that, you can do that. It's mutter. The kids at his younger years does not comprehend, does not work. His brain does not work with his words. Also mutter. It's okay. It's not okay. It does not. He came home with this behavior because he imitating someone that he saw or on the street or in the school. So the proper approach it will be to imitate differently, because home is the place where child admires, and the home, it's the location where child is majority, he's there majority of days. So we just no addressing this behavior, no saying to child also mutter, because that does not understand these words, but imitate imitate, let him imitate your positive behavior, different behavior. If the child comes home when he uses certain words, we make sure that we talk nicely. Parents at home, we don't use those words, and give it a little time. You will see how this negative behavior will disappear, just because we also have to remember that the parents are there. They're certainly number one at the child. The parents are the people who the child looks up to. So if the child sees that his parent, that the child's behavior is not comparable to the parent's behavior, he will understand that that's not right behavior, because my heroes, my parents, they don't behave so. So at majority of times, if the parents create that positive, that pleasant, that spiritual environment, child will direct him to himself the behavior of the parents' environment. The parents' environment. So this rule goes all across. It's let's say to bring a child in the to bring a child to different places where there is environment is not so pleasant, is not so positive. And there's many times there is a question: can I let my child go to my friend to his friend's home? It's all It all depends. If the friend's home is the home of what you're looking for your child to be, it's not no one is same. But if the parents of your child's friend and you have that common goal in life, meaning to say they're b'nai Torah, let's say they're b'nai Torah, and you also desire the Torah, so you have common goal, so it matches your goals. Of course, you can let your child to go his friend's home. Of course, besides the Torah, there needs to be positive, more pleasant environment, because the environment is that what makes child for who he is. So yes, we can send our kids to friends' home, but we have to just make sure that the home generates that positive environment, that spiritual environment, that environment that we are catering to our kids. So the friend's home will cater the same. The rule is very simple. What makes our decision to bring the child there, not to bring the child there, we have to perceive, is that home as extension of my home or not? I mean to say, if my child's friend's home is in more or less extension of my goals in life, is an extension of my behavior at my home or not? If you see that this is your extension in somewhat degree, so you let go. If you feel that contradicts, is that b'chalal not extension, or it's negative, it's b'chalal not shaykh, so then you don't send it, right? And if the child starts to cry and starts to of course, child does not understand this concept, so it's don't just give in to it, but rather bribe the child, or provide the child different activities, or or make the child just happier by other ways. Child will be happy. Usually when child cries, that what makes the child calm down is desires, and just give him the candy, the chocolate, that's okay, but don't give in to it. If the home that the child craving to go to, it contradicts your goals in life, is not extension of your goal, it's not extension from your home, then it's better off not to send your child there. But supplement this the home the child wants to go to with different activities, different pleasures and things. So to have it like to sum what we discussed today, it's pretty simple. We have to that's the rule in the Netoras and Nefesh. The person identifies, especially child, adults too. The child, everyone identifies with their environment, but not only, it also directs to themselves the behavior of the environment that they're in. And that's the pattern has to be like right in front of our eyes, and we have to fit in our behavior to this perception, to this concept, and in the place where we send our child to also have to fit to this perception, and then we'll succeed. It's a good shtadlus to succeed to raise the child and to support his personality, to support and create and convert him to become a better person in life, and create a foundation that will be solid, create a solid foundation, so all his life should be able to lean on that solid foundation and help him to become a healthier and a better person in his life. Be'ezer Hashem will continue tomorrow. Kol Tov, Hatzlacha Rabba.